On this 2019 to 2025 Ram 2500 HD with the 6.4HEMIGas engine, P0174 is the PCM calling out fuel system 2/1 lean. In plain terms, the PCM may be adding fuel because that side of the engine appears too lean. The truck may have the MIL on, may show lean drivability symptoms, and if it is stop/start, that system can be disabled while the code is active. Broadly, this can come from fuel delivery, air or vacuum leaks, purge flow issues, exhaust leaks, sensor input problems, oxygen sensor wiring, or, after everything else is ruled out, a controller concern. Start with the basic system checks before you get deep into the chart. Treat the running conditions as monitor gates, not as a parts list. This diagnostic runs with the engine in closed-loop fuel control, battery voltage above 11.0 volts, barometric pressure greater than 75 kPa, ambient temperature above -7 degrees C, 20 degrees F, fuel level greater than 12%, and altitude below 2,598 m, 8,500 ft. The PCM is watching the combined short-term and long-term fuel correction. When that combined correction is greater than a calibrated threshold, generally 133%, with 100% being nominal, the fail timer increments. After approximately 30 seconds of fail time, the diagnostic fails. This is an emissions diagnostic tied to a condition that can allow emissions to exceed 1.5 times the standard. First, read DTCs in all electronic control units and record what is stored. Save the scan report and the related recorded data, because that gives you the operating context that set the fault. Then erase the DTCs, turn the ignition off for a minimum of 10.0 seconds, turn it back on, and operate the vehicle under the captured conditions or the monitor conditions that set P0174. Read DTCs again. If P0174 does not return, treat it as an intermittent concern instead of forcing a hard fault path. Next, look back at the recorded codes. If any fuel system or air handling codes are active or pending, diagnose those first. Even though this code can be caused by an O2 sensor or its wiring, it is more likely to come from a mechanical, fuel, or air handling issue. So if the truck has fuel system symptoms, drivability problems, or other fuel or air handling faults, clean those up before continuing down this P0174 path. If none are active or pending, move on. From there, run the MAP sensor operation test. If that test finds a problem, repair that finding and then verify the repair. If the MAP test passes, check the fuel delivery system the same way. Run the fuel delivery test, repair any fault it identifies, and verify. If fuel delivery checks out, test the ethanol content in the gasoline. If the gasoline check finds an issue, correct that condition and verify the repair. If no issue is found, continue. Now shut the ignition off and check the mechanical and airside items that can drive a lean correction. Make sure the air induction system is free of leaks. Check the engine and all vacuum lines and hoses for vacuum leaks. Check the power brake booster for an internal vacuum leak by monitoring engine speed and vacuum while pinching the booster vacuum hose. If a restricted injector is suspected, remove the fuel rail with the injectors intact. Energize the fuel pump to maintain rail pressure. Actuate the suspect injector with the scan tool and compare its spray pattern with the others. Also make sure the purge flow system flows freely with no leaks or restrictions, including the hose and connections between the purge solenoid and the intake manifold. Engine compression also needs to be within specification. Any mechanical problem found here gets repaired, then verified before moving on. If the mechanical side does not show a problem, check the exhaust system for leaks. Repair any leak or fault found there and verify the repair. If the exhaust leak test passes, move to the 2/1 upstream O2 sensor wiring. Disconnect the upstream O2 sensor connector and the PCM-C2 connector. Then connect the GPEC Diagnostic 10436 adapter. Do not probe the PCM harness connectors. That can damage the PCM terminals and create a poor terminal-to-pin connection. With the adapter in place, Check the upstream O2 sensor circuits between the O2 sensor connector and PCM-C2 for a short to ground, and for an open or high resistance. If wiring problems are found, repair them and verify the repair. If the O2 sensor wiring checks good, replace the bank 2 upstream O2 sensor and retest. Reconnect the bank 2 upstream O2 sensor and PCM connectors, turn the ignition on, erase the DTCs, and operate the vehicle under the captured conditions or the monitor conditions that set the code. If P0174 does not return, the bank 2 upstream O2 sensor repaired the fault, and you still finish by verifying the repair. If P0174 does return, continue to the connector checks. For the final harness check, disconnect all PCM connectors, any related inline connectors if equipped, and the related component connectors. Inspect the connectors and terminals for proper installation, damaged locks, corrosion, signs of water intrusion, whether seal damage where equipped, bent terminals, overheating from a poor connection, pushed back terminals, spread terminals, and proper terminal tension. Repair anything you find. Then reconnect the PCM in line and component connectors, making sure every connector is fully seated and every lock is engaged. Erase the DTCs, test drive or operate the vehicle under the monitor and set conditions, and read DTCs again. If P0174 does not return, the wiring or poor connection problem has been repaired. If P0174 does return after these checks, replace and program the PCM, then verify the repair. The key with P0174 is not to jump straight to the oxygen sensor. Confirm the code, handle fuel and air handling concerns first, check the mechanical and exhaust paths, prove the O2 wiring, and only then move into sensor replacement, connector repair, or PCM replacement as the path supports. For more diagnostic training, visit Diagnostics.com.